the world is undergoing a silent revolution. Artificial intelligence, once a distant concept, now shapes our daily lives. But this revolution hinges on a physical battleground, the microchip. Specifically, the advanced AI chips powering this transformation. Silicon Valley's giants, Nvidia, Intel, and AMD, are locked in a fierce, high-stakes competition. This isn't just about market share, it's a new global Cold War, where semiconductors are the ultimate strategic asset. The very foundation of our digital future rests on these tiny silicon wafers, and their supply chain is fraught with unprecedented geopolitical risks, particularly surrounding Taiwan. Our story begins with the microprocessor's birth. In 1971, Intel released the 4004, the first commercially available single-chip CPU. This innovation marked a paradigm shift, as documented by Intel's historical records. Before this, computers were room-sized behemoths. The 4004, designed by Federico Faggin, Ted Hoff, and Stanley Mazur, integrated all necessary processing functions onto one silicon wafer. This miniaturization paved the way for personal computing, forever altering technology's trajectory. It laid the groundwork for an industry that would eventually fuel the AI revolution. For decades, Intel, under visionaries like Gordon Moore, led this charge. Moore's law, posited in 1965, predicted that the number of transistors on an integrated circuit would double approximately every 2 years. This wasn't merely an observation, it became an industry roadmap, pushing continuous innovation and performance gains, as noted by semiconductor historians. Chipmakers meticulously followed this trajectory, cramming more power into smaller, more efficient packages. This relentless scaling drove exponential growth in computing power, making increasingly complex tasks feasible, and eventually, making AI a reality. While CPUs handled general-purpose computing, a new demand emerged: graphics. In the late 1990s, Nvidia, founded by Jensen Huang, saw an opportunity. They developed graphics processing units, or GPUs, initially for rendering complex video game graphics. According to Nvidia's corporate history, their focus on parallel processing, performing many calculations simultaneously, proved revolutionary for visuals. This architectural difference, distinct from a CPU's sequential processing, would later become critical. The GPU, once a gaming accessory, was unknowingly laying the groundwork for the AI revolution. The explosion of artificial intelligence, particularly deep learning, revealed the limits of traditional CPUs. Training large neural networks requires immense parallel computation, processing vast datasets simultaneously. As detailed in academic papers on machine learning architectures, GPUs, with their thousands of smaller cores designed for parallel tasks, were uniquely suited for this workload. CPUs, optimized for sequential operations, simply couldn't keep pace with the mathematical demands of AI model training. This shift marked a pivotal moment, re-evaluating which chip architecture would dominate the future. Nvidia's foresight positioned them perfectly. Around 2006, they introduced CUDA, a parallel computing platform and programming model that allowed developers to utilize GPUs for general-purpose computing, not just graphics. Jensen Huang recognized the potential of GPUs beyond gaming. According to industry analysts like those at Gartner, CUDA effectively created an ecosystem, attracting researchers and developers to GPU-accelerated computing. This strategic move transformed Nvidia from a graphics card company into the undisputed leader in AI hardware, solidifying its future dominance. Intel, long the king of general-purpose computing, initially underestimated the significance of GPUs for AI. While they continued to innovate with CPUs, their focus remained primarily on data centers and client PCs. Reports from financial analysts like those at Bloomberg highlight Intel's slow response to the GPU-centric AI boom. They attempted to pivot with various AI accelerators and acquisitions, but their CPU architecture was fundamentally less efficient for the specific parallel tasks of deep learning. This misstep allowed Nvidia to build an insurmountable lead in the nascent AI chip market. Advanced Micro Devices, or AMD, a longtime competitor to Intel, faced its own challenges but began a significant resurgence under CEO Lisa Su. While Nvidia dominated GPUs, AMD focused on a competitive CPU strategy, particularly with its EPYC processors for data centers. Then, they developed their own GPU-based accelerators, the MI Instinct series, specifically targeting AI workloads. Industry reports from entities like IDC confirm AMD's growing market share in both server CPUs and an aggressive push into AI accelerators, challenging both Intel and Nvidia. Today, Nvidia's H100 Tensor Core GPU is considered the gold standard for AI training. Its architecture is purpose-built for the demands of large language models and complex AI algorithms. According to tech publications like AnandTech, the H100 boasts unparalleled performance for AI tasks, making it essential for AI developers in data centers globally. Analysts estimate Nvidia controls approximately 80 to 90% of the market for high-end AI training chips. This dominance gives Nvidia immense power, influencing the pace and direction of AI development worldwide. Intel is fighting to regain ground. They've invested heavily in new AI acceleration technologies, including their Gaudi accelerators and integrating AI capabilities directly into their latest Xeon CPUs. CEO Pat Gelsinger has repeatedly emphasized Intel's commitment to becoming a major player in the AI era. While they have strong market presence in client and server CPUs, their challenge lies in dislodging Nvidia's established ecosystem and performance lead in dedicated AI training hardware. Intel aims to offer a broader AI portfolio, from cloud to edge, as detailed in their investor reports. AMD is mounting a serious challenge with its MI300X Instinct accelerators. Designed to compete directly with Nvidia's H100, the MI300X boasts impressive specifications and performance for large language models, as reported by independent benchmarks like MLPerf. AMD's strategy involves offering a competitive alternative, leveraging its existing data center CPU relationships. CEO Lisa Su has publicly stated AMD's ambition to be a significant player in the AI accelerator market, projecting substantial growth in their data center GPU revenue. The competition is intensifying. This fierce competition unfolds in a unique manufacturing landscape. Most leading AI chip designers like Nvidia and AMD operate on a fabless model. They design the chips but outsource manufacturing to specialized foundries. The most critical of these is Taiwan's Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSMC. TSMC, based in Hsinchu, Taiwan, possesses the most advanced chip fabrication technology in the world, as confirmed by semiconductor industry reports. This model allows designers to focus on innovation, but creates a single point of failure in the global supply chain. Taiwan's role is not just significant, it's indispensable. TSMC produces over 90% of the world's most advanced chips, according to reports from entities like the Rhodium Group. This includes the high-end processors essential for AI, modern smartphones, and critical military applications. The island nation, a democratic self-governing entity, holds the keys to the entire global digital economy. Without TSMC, manufacturing capacity for these cutting-edge components would simply not exist anywhere else at scale, making Taiwan a choke point. Taiwan's strategic importance makes it a dangerous geopolitical flashpoint. China views Taiwan as a renegade province and has stated its intention to unify it with the mainland, by force if necessary. The United States, while acknowledging the One China policy, also maintains unofficial relations with Taiwan and provides defensive military assistance. This delicate balance, as analyzed by geopolitical strategists at think tanks like SAIS, creates immense risk. A conflict over Taiwan would not only have devastating human costs but global economic repercussions. A military conflict or blockade involving Taiwan could instantly collapse the global chip supply chain. Economists at Goldman Sachs estimate such a disruption could wipe trillions from the global economy. Factories worldwide, from automotive to consumer electronics, would grind to a halt without critical semiconductor components. The implications extend beyond commercial goods, national security systems, defense industries, and advanced computing infrastructure all rely on these chips. The interdependence of the world economy on TSMC is a vulnerability on an unprecedented scale. These chips have surpassed oil as the world's most valuable geopolitical commodity. Oil fueled the industrial age, silicon fuels the information age. Access to advanced semiconductors dictates economic competitiveness, technological leadership, and military superiority. As documented by foreign policy experts in publications like Foreign Affairs, nations now prioritize chip independence and supply chain resilience above almost all other resources. Control over semiconductor manufacturing and design is power itself, shaping the future balance of global influence. Recognizing this critical vulnerability, the United States has launched aggressive initiatives to bolster domestic chip manufacturing. The CHIPS and Science Act, signed into law in 2022, allocates over $52 billion to incentivize semiconductor research, development, and manufacturing within the U.S. This legislation aims to reduce reliance on foreign foundries, particularly TSMC. Companies like Intel and TSMC itself are now building new fabrication plants in Arizona, with significant government backing, as reported by the Department of Commerce. China, acutely aware of its own reliance on foreign chips, is also pouring vast resources into achieving semiconductor self-sufficiency. Beijing has outlined ambitious goals in its Made in China 2025 initiative, aiming to produce a significant percentage of its chips domestically. Despite U.S. export controls restricting access to advanced manufacturing equipment, China continues to invest heavily in its domestic foundries like SMIC and develop indigenous chip designs. This drive creates a parallel, often competing, global supply chain, according to reports from the South China Morning Post. The competition isn't confined to the US and China. Japan, South Korea, and the European Union are all investing billions in their own semiconductor industries. The race for advanced chip technology and manufacturing capacity has become a global priority. Nations are striving to secure their supply chains and develop sovereign capabilities, recognizing that economic and national security are inextricably linked to silicon. This global scramble reflects the unprecedented strategic importance of these tiny, powerful components, as summarized by the Semiconductor Industry Association. This quest for national security through chip independence presents a paradox for innovation. While diversification of manufacturing may reduce geopolitical risk, it could also increase costs and slow down the pace of technological advancement, according to some economists. The highly efficient, specialized, and globally integrated supply chain that enabled Moore's Law is now being challenged by geopolitical imperatives. Balancing resilience with cost-effectiveness and innovation remains a critical dilemma for policymakers and industry leaders worldwide. The future of AI hinges on continued innovation in chip technology. New architectures, energy efficiency, and specialized accelerators will be crucial for pushing the boundaries of what AI can achieve. The leading companies Nvidia, Intel, and AMD are constantly pouring billions into R&D, attempting to leapfrog each other. But their innovations will only reach global markets if the fragile supply chain remains intact. The speed of AI's progress is now directly tied to geopolitical stability, a connection never before so pronounced. From Intel's 4004 to Nvidia's H100, the microprocessor's journey has been one of exponential progress. But its future is now clouded by a dangerous geopolitical reality. The fierce competition for AI chip supremacy, the indispensable role of Taiwan's TSMC, and the looming threat of supply chain disruption define Silicon Valley's new Cold War. The stakes are immense: economic stability, national security, and the very pace of technological advancement. The world watches, recognizing that the battle for the future is being fought on silicon.